Week 7, Lesson 3 covers about the varieties and registers of spoken and written language, or to make it short, we will discuss about language registers. So how do we define the word registers? Registers are defined as the styles of language spoken and writing that is appropriate for a certain situation. In the writing discipline, the registers determine the vocabulary, structure, and some grammar in writing. The communication depends on how you communicate with different people. So, the way we talk with a stranger is different on how we talk with the professional people. So, why does language register matter or important? Many teachers and parents today lament a lack of formality in student language, especially in writing. Ask any teacher about the use of so-called texting language in student writing, and you will likely see eye rolls, a pained look on their face, hear a sigh or a complaint about the decline in language. What students may not understand, however, is a language register. Different language and levels of formality are used in different situations and scenarios. While most people have a working understanding of the concept, students may need to be taught or reminded that different scenarios call for different language. Perhaps the first consideration for students when speaking or writing are audience, topic, purpose, and location. Many students need to be explicitly taught about these ideas and how to adjust their language used based on these considerations. When working with English learners, explicit instruction in vocabulary and syntax is important. So the first factor to consider is audience. Students need to understand that different audiences require differing types of language. For example, the way they speak to their parents may differ from how they speak to their siblings when they are alone. The language they use will likely change when speaking with friends and should change again when speaking in school. Similarly, when writing, students should adjust the formality, tone, and vocabulary used based on who the writing is intended for. The second factor to consider in language register is topic. Different subject areas in school and differing topics require differing styles of speech and writing. Mathematicians, scientists, historians, artists, musicians, and others use differing styles when speaking about or writing about the subject and topic at hand. For example, when writing in science, students should avoid the use of metaphors or unnecessary language, being as concise as possible while getting the appropriate principle, finding, description, and many more. Another one is it is critical that we as teachers, of course, share with students the differing language styles used in the subject areas we are discussing and learning about. The third one is purpose. Students should clearly understand the purpose of their writing or speech. Is it to inform, argue, persuade, describe, narrate, share cause and effect, or some other purpose? When students are clear on the purpose of their writing or speech, they can more accurately choose the language register to use. In addition, we teachers, of course, will need to explicitly teach you the appropriate general academic vocabulary that pertains to the specific language functions. We should include instruction on specific sentence frames, starters, and signal words to help you as students choose the most appropriate language for the purpose of your writing or speech. And the last one is the location. Location can and often does dictate the appropriate register to use. In a school setting, the language and formality used in the classroom should differ from the language used in the hallways or on the playground. Similarly, the vocabulary and syntax used to answer a simple question versus giving a formal speech in the classroom differs. Students should know the way they speak and the words they use in a library versus a restaurant versus a shopping center differ, and they should adjust their language register accordingly. So one of the examples of a language register is the dialogue shown here in the presentation. As you can see, what is the difference between picture A and picture B? So the picture A's dialogue is, "Hello, I believe you work at my school, Washington Elementary. My name is Alexander Molin. Do you live in this neighborhood?" Picture B stated based on his dialogue, "Hi, I think I've seen you at my school before. My name's Alex. Do you live around here?" So what's the difference between these two pictures? Picture A presents a formal conversation, and picture B presents informal conversation. Okay, another one is picture A presents the dialogue of a girl who is talking to someone that is close with her. For example, "Hey, if you want, I'll show you how to make fancy letters for your poster." On picture B, the girl's dialogue is presented here. "I will demonstrate how to draw decorative letters that can be used on posters and display boards." So it seems that she is talking to someone that is not close with her, or she talks formally. Okay, this is another example. So if you're talking to your brother, you can use this phrase like, "What's up? It's awesome that you came to visit." If you are trying to talk with a president of a company or a country or any organization or club, you should address with this way: "Good morning, Mr. President. We appreciate your visit." So let's proceed to formal language register. So this refers to a language that is being used in a formal setting, and this is usually a one-way communication. So it is usually used with impersonal or formal language, and a common format for this register are speeches. Another example for this, the language that we use in sermons, rhetorical statements, and questions, speeches, pronouncements made by the judges, and other announcements. So, to know about the rules of formal language register, we are not allowed to use contractions. So, contractions are not usually used in formal writing, even though they are very common in spoken English. Examples for this is you should use cannot instead of can't, have not instead of haven't, will not instead of won't, could not instead of couldn't, is not instead of isn't. So, contractions can be used if you are quoting someone's exact words in your writing. For example, "Two-thirds of my 8th grade students can't read at grade level," the professor stated. Keep in mind that an apostrophe does not always make a contraction. Apostrophes are also added to nouns to show ownership. So these are used in all language registers, especially in formal. For example, children's classroom, professor's report, elephant's trunk. Another rule in formal language register is spell out numbers less than 100. So you need to spell it out like 19, 22, 78, or 6. Another rule is you should always write in third person point of view. Avoid using the first or second person point of view. So you should avoid using I, you, we, and us. Example, you can purchase a car for under $10,000. So you should use one can purchase a car for under $10,000. Or a car can be purchased for under $10,000. Another one, you should avoid this. Like for example, you will probably see an elephant on an African safari. So you should use this sentence like one may see elephants on an African safari, or elephants are a common sight on African safaris. Okay? So another thing is we decided to invest in the company. So you should avoid this. But rather, you should use this. Like the group decided to invest in the company. Instead of using we, it is substituted with the word group. Okay? Avoid using too much passive voice. In formal writing, it is better to use an active voice because you are trying to communicate with the readers. Okay? An example of a passive sentence is the bone was eaten by the dog. So instead of using this, you should use this sentence. The dog ate the bone. Another passive sentence to be that must be avoided is the research was completed by the students in 2009. So you should use this sentence. The students completed their research in 2009, or in 2009 the students completed the research. So these are examples of active sentences. Avoid using slang, idioms, exaggeration or hyperboles, and cliches. So to define the word slang, this is very common in informal writing and spoken English. Slang is particular to a certain region or area. So for example, here in our country, we have our own Filipino slang. In American, they use their American slang. For example, awesome, cool, okay. Check it out in a nutshell. A cliche is a phrase that is overused or said too often. So these are the common cliches, like too much of a good thing, moment of truth, time is money, don't push your luck, beauty is only skin deep. Another rule in writing a formal language register is to avoid abbreviations and acronyms. So you need to, if you will be using an acronym or abbreviation, write the entire name out the first time it appears. For example, um, National Aeronautics and Space Administration or Kansas Department of Transportation. So you should follow by the acronym or abbreviation. Then from then on, you can use the acronym or abbreviation by itself. So as you can see, there is already the acronym after the complete name. National Aeronautics and Space Administration, open close parenthesis NASA, Kansas Department of Transportation, open close parenthesis, KDOT. For abbreviations, write the complete word the first time, then use the abbreviation. For example, influenza is short for flu. United States of America, USA, or with punctuation marks. Tablespoon is TBSP. Kansas is KS. Do not use lang abbreviation or symbols that you would use in friendly emails and texts. For example, LOL, short for laugh out loud, double TYL, talk to you later, BC, short for because, uh, then without or with. So you should avoid this. Do not start sentences such as and, so, but, or also. So instead of using these words, you should use transition words such as nevertheless, additionally, however, in addition, as a result of, although. So another tip is always write in complete sentences. And then when you write longer, of course, emphasize the complex sentences. Another type is the informal language register. It is written in the way we talk to our family and friends. We use informal writing when we are writing to someone we know very well. So, example for this is when we write personal emails, phone texts, short notes, friendly letters, most blogs, diaries, and journals. So actually, in informal writing, there is no such rules. You can use the following like slang and cliches, figurative language, symbols and abbreviations, acronyms, incomplete sentences, short sentences, first person or second person or even third person point of view, paragraphs or no paragraphs, jokes, personal opinions, extra punctuation, or passive and active voice. So you are free to use any of this in informal writing. Another type is the neutral language register. We use the neutral language register with non-emotional topics and information. Okay, let me highlight this. Neutral writing is not necessarily formal or informal. So this shouldn't be biased. It is not usually positive or negative. So this is all about delivering facts. Some writings are written in a neutral register. This means that they are not specifically formal or informal. Writing in the natural language register includes reviews, articles, some letters, some essays, or even technical writing. So another one is, let's proceed to the styles in spoken English. So the first style is frozen. So from the word frozen, it never changes or it could be rarely changes. So this is frozen in time and content. So the language that is used in Pledge of Allegiance, the Lord's Prayer, the preamble to the U.S. Constitution, the alma mater, or even in a bibliographic reference or laws are examples or is an example of a frozen. Okay, informal. This language is used in formal settings, and this is a one-way in nature. So, as stated a while ago. So, example for this is like sermons, rhetorical statements, questions, speeches, and others. In consultative, this is a standard form of communications. So the users engage in mutually accepted structures of communications. So it is formal and societal expectation accompany the users of this speech. So this is a professional discourse. For example, when strangers meet, communications between a superior and a subordinate, doctor and patient, lawyer and client, lawyer and judge, teacher and student, counselor and the client. So, me as a teacher, you as a student is the way we talk with one another is an example of consultative. Casual, this refers to the informal language used by peers and friends. Slang, vulgarities, and colloquialisms are normal. This is group language. One must be a member to engage in the register. For example, like the way you talk with your teammates, with your buddy, or the language that is used in chats or emails, blogs, and letters to friends. Another one is intimate. This communication is usually in private. It is reserved for close family members or intimate people. For example, a husband and wife, a conversation between a boyfriend and a girlfriend, siblings, parents, and children. So these are the examples of um, the way you say goodbye in different register. In Frozen, you can use the term farewell and Godspeed. In formal, you can use goodbye, we look forward to seeing you again. In consultative, goodbye, have a good weekend. In casual, bye now, take care. And in intimate, later, darling. So I hope that you fully understood what is the lesson all about. So any questions? So if you have questions, feel free to leave a message on the chat box.